+6, +7 for the next week or so as you take a look at the Malmo turning torso. 54 stories. Big. Slovakia has 3 players, all drafted in last June's draft. Marko Dano the first, Peter Solaric, he's a Boston pick, and Martin Rivai out of Gatineau is a Montreal 4th-round choice. So Slovakia has a very young team, an up-and-coming team, with the NHL keeping their eye on it. As on this Friday, we say hello, Canada, and welcome to our continuing coverage, day 2 of the World Junior Championship. Jason Strudwick joining me alongside former member of the Edmonton Oilers. Nice to have you here. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
As we get a look at 2 teams in Group A. We saw Germany yesterday in their loss, of course, to Canada 7-2, but this is our first look at Slovakia as they play at the Eisstadion in Malmo, as we say hello to Gordon Ray. Gentlemen.
Thanks very much, Vic. So with the new format this year, 1 team from each side goes down to the relegation group. So basically the loser of this game becomes, Ray, the odds-on favorite to be in that relegation side. For the Slovaks, who have high hopes in this tournament, their star players will be the key.
Well, they are, and there's different levels of star players. Germany has Leon Draisaitl, who is their best forward. The Slovaks have Marko Dano, the third of Columbus's 3 first-round picks last year by first-year general manager Jarmo Kekalainen. Dano is a very tricky forward. He plays in Gatineau. He plays in the KHL. He's a tricky forward, very highly skilled. Scored 2 goals last year against Canada, including this power play marker against Malcolm Subban. And Slovakia gave Canada a little bit of a jolt early in that game. Dano is a competitive guy. He'll get to the front of the net, and if he's going to score, it's going to obviously help the Slovaks, and they have a little bit of a leg up on Germany offensively. Dano's got to be their leader. In 9 all-time meetings, Germany's only won once, but the last 2 have gone to overtime. Vic?
You know, you make a good point, fellas. This is all about relegation. And when you think about Slovakia, they're not quite good enough to challenge the Big 4, including Canada, US, Russia, Sweden. Yet they're not quite bad enough to be in that relegation zone. Let's talk a little bit about Martin Rivai out of Gatineau.
Rivai is a smaller player, very skilled, and I'm really looking forward to watching this guy play. He's very entertaining. He is not afraid to go to the hard areas. I mean, you got to score goals in around the net. You want to be in the crease. You want to be banging away in there. And he's not a guy that shies away from that, even as a smaller guy. So look for him to have a strong performance for them tonight. And
there's no doubt Germany, as the fellows mentioned, trying to avoid relegation with the likes of, say, a Norway. Let's take a look now at the starting goaltenders. And Germany will go right back with Marvin Cooper out of Shawinigan of the Q, gave up those 7 goals yesterday. While it'll be Richard Sable. He had a 6-game stint with Green Bay of the USHL last year, and he will get the start for Slovakia. The starting goalies are brought to you by Chevrolet. Find new roads. The star for the Germans is Leon Draisaitl. In his 2nd season at Prince Albert of the Western Hockey League. So we'll have lots to watch.
The 2014 IIHF World Junior Hockey Championship from Malmo, Sweden is brought to you by Chevrolet, Find New Roads, and by Molson Canadian, proud sponsor of Hockey Canada.
Back at the Stadium in Malmo, Sweden. It's day 2 of the 2014 World Junior Hockey Championship as Slovakia takes on Germany. And for Ernst Bokros and Slovakia, this is their tournament debut. They had the day off yesterday. Last year, the Slovaks finished 8th at the World Junior Championship in Ufa, Russia. And Ernst Hoffner's team got a good start against Canada, scored the first goal, but wound up losing 7-2 in the opener. Germany last year finished in 9th place, but only 1 team was relegated, so the Germans did manage to survive. Richard Sable is the goaltender for Slovakia, playing in his 3rd World Junior. He played for Green Bay in the United States Hockey League last year. And meantime, for the Germans, it's Marvin Cooper of Shawinigan of the Quebec Major Junior League, allowed 7 goals on 30 shots yesterday against Canada. Referees are Antti Bowman from Finland and Jakob Gumsen from Denmark. And Slovakia will be the home team. This is the game that the team that goes to the relegation side will likely look at as being the turning point. Leon Draisaitl, who did not have his best afternoon against Canada. Got cleaned out in the face-off circle. Didn't create a ton offensively. Throws that ahead. And the pass for Max Kammerer gets knocked away. Germans also lost a player. Parker told me he went into the inboards hard against Canada, and he is not dressed today.
It looked like he had a wrist or arm injury, and the Germany will play with 11 forwards today.
They still have an open spot on their roster, but they have not yet filled it. Dominic Cahoon brings it ahead for the Germans. And Cahoon being harassed from behind there by Martin Rivaj, number 10, for the Slovaks. Now brought ahead by Peter Cehlarik. And Cehlarik sends that on goal, and Cooper makes his first save of the game. Cehlarik plays here in Sweden for Luleå and has spent some time in the Swedish Hockey League, the top division in Sweden.
Boston Bruins third-round draft pick. He's got good size, real good speed here to see early in the game.
Drops it back, and David Minarek takes that long shot, kicked away by Cooper. Now Cehlarik sends it back in front. Here's a chance. Walking out is a backhand shot from Mario Lunter. That's stopped by Cooper. Two more stops inside. And Cehlarik was once again in there with the puck. Swept back at the line. The long shot tipped just wide of the goal. And the Slovaks with good possession as Daniel Cahoon just got a couple of shots away, but couldn't find the target.
It's an excellent shift and a half to start here for Slovakia. They've had the puck the entire time.
Hulonets throws that ahead. And now it's picked up by Germany's Vladislav Filin, and the play is offside at the German line.
Gord Martin Cooper gave up 7 goals yesterday against Canada. Maybe a couple he might have wanted back, but he was under siege, particularly late. And one thing that he did show was excellent capabilities to battle for the puck. When the puck was in front of him, he was able to get himself in front of it and then fight for the rebound. As Germany didn't have an answer for Canada's forwards there, he makes a couple of quick stops in the game's first 2 minutes.
Germans bring it in as Vladislav Filin has it. Looks down to Kai Herpik, number 13. Herpik had that taken away, and it's played down the ice by Stanislav Haransky of Slovakia. Only one of these Slovak players plays in North America. That's Martin Rivaj, who plays for Gatineau in the Quebec League. That's a far cry from 7-8 years ago when you'd see at least half the Slovak roster playing for CHL team.
And now they have a centralized junior team. They call it their orange team. They have 25 players they identify, and really they feel they've made great strides with that team and that program.
Called Orange because it's sponsored by a mobile phone company known as Orange. So the players are centralized. They play against teams in the Slovak Extra League. Here come a couple of members of it now as Tibensky walks in, couldn't get the puck to sit for him as Dominic Tipples stayed with him.
Played 20 games against those men's teams this year. They've won 7 of them. Last year, just a couple.
Now a centering pass at the side of the net, and Cooper gets the pad down, and it's dug out by Edward Shimoon. And here's Shimoon with it. And Shimoon tried to walk out in front. He's taken down. A penalty now coming to Germany, as the Slovaks are going to get an early power play here. Finally touched up by Dominic Cahoon. And so the Slovaks will go to the power play as Yannick Moser goes off.
Really strong play by Edward Shimoon as he holds the puck from the left corner all the way around to the other side. Eventually his feet are chopped out, and we'll get a look at for the first time at the Slovak power play.
Moser, by the way, plays for Muskegon in the United States Hockey League, so a big difference between the Germans and the Slovaks. A dozen of the German players play in 3 different leagues in North America. And the face-off not done fairly.
Slovakia has Rive on one power play, Marko Dano on another.
And now a warning here to the Slovaks as Rive does not get tossed and hit the drawback cleanly. Nikin Verdansky. Throws that down to Rive, the centering pass. Krieger sends it back. Jordan Cooper was down. They score! Milan Kalina appeared to slide it home. It took a while for the puck to get to the net, but the Slovaks have a power play goal to lead 1-0.
Kalina wants to take this puck from below the goal line and drive the front of the net. It's a real good play to take it there, but when he falls and loses the puck, it's going to ping-pong around off a couple of players. So Kalena will take it off the pass here. He's going to take it to the front. It hits the German stick. His knee bounces back over top of Cooper. 3 times this puck bounces. Eventually it ends up in the back of the net as it hits Ziegler in front of the German net twice before it goes in the net. So it's a power play goal for Slovakia. And in a start that Germany has been more than sluggish, the Slovaks deservedly have a 1-0 lead.
So Kalena, another one of those players who plays for that Team Orange, but he also spends time in the KHL. He plays for Slovak Bratislava, which is a Slovak team that plays in the Russian league. So he's one of the higher end players for the Slovak team, although he is undrafted. Only 2 Slovaks picked in last year's NHL draft, none the year before. Here comes Marco Dano, number 20. Dano fights off a check and works his way in. Dano, playing in his 3rd World Junior, drops it off to Thomas Racina. Top line out there for the Slovaks, and that's fired wide by Peter Cehlarik. Looks on it now for Cehlarik. Dano comes pinching in, the bouncing puck in front, and Marvin Cooper has that.
Germany better wake up here for a game that means so much for them. Slovakia has carried the play through the first 4.5 minutes or so. They've been more aggressive. They've cycled the puck, in Germany, which did a pretty decent job, I thought, yesterday in defending the middle of the ice, has had no answer for the Slovaks early on.
These are 2 teams that have flirted with relegation in recent years. Germany's done more than flirt with it. Their previous 5 appearances, they did the promotion relegation 2-step. Get promoted, get bounced. Get promoted, get bounced. In fact, they survived last year, but their previous 6 appearances in the World Junior, they were relegated. The Slovaks are experts at coming close, but not getting bounced. 4 times in the last 8 World Juniors, they finished 1 spot above relegation. There was 1 year they needed help to get it. Switzerland had to beat somebody. Sure enough, the Swiss scored a late goal to do it. The Slovak players celebrated in the stands as they watched. But so far, not much doing for the Germans here. Shimon intercepted that centering pass. Dominic Tipples looks ahead. And again, the Slovaks bring it ahead. Long shot on Cooper. Taken there by Martin Ketchlis.
So if you're wondering who's in goal for Slovakia, it's Richard Cibol. Here he is in warm-up. I assume he's stretching. He was lying like this for 48 seconds. This is not a frozen picture. This is live video. 48 seconds he stretched out and laid on the ice, finally got himself back to his feet. He's done absolutely nothing here in the first 5.5 minutes.
Shots are 5-0 for the Slovak. We thought he'd been hit by a car.
The only reason we put together that he was okay was nobody on the Slovak bench moved, and so this obviously is part of his pregame, and he's the #1 goaltender for their junior team, and at some point he's going to have to stop a puck here, but Slovakia has dominated this game early on.
Tim Benner of the London Knights has it now for Germany. 5.5 gone in the opening period. There's a play disrupted by Rivai for Slovakia. Not Rivai. His name was pronounced Riway last year at the draft, but he prefers Rivai. And so it shall be.
His name. Well, Slovakia has pressured the puck all over the ice.
And now Kalena works his way in and fires, and Cooper knocks that away. Picked up again by Rivai. Centers it, and Kalena another chance. And Kalena, the Slovak goal scorer, with 2 good chances in that sequence. Slovakia leads 1-0 here in the first. Goes Dano in there for the face-off for the Slovaks. Lob kicks it back, turns it over. And a long shot by Dano goes off a stick and wide. Cehlarik looking for Dano, the Columbus first-rounder. Fields off a check and pivots back in the corner. He was 5th in tournament scoring last year. Scored 2 key goals against Latvia as the Slovaks once again were able to avoid relegation. Thomas Bozenhart takes a hard bump there. The Germans are having a hard time getting out of their own zone. And finally picked up by Fabio Wagner, who sends it down to the Slovak zone. Chernak goes back for it. and Eisenschmidt collide. Horansky waiting for the puck, sends it ahead. And the puck bounced off the stick of David Minarik. Back to Valiant. His shooting got knocked down. And Horansky lost the puck to Draisaitl. Leon Draisaitl, the Prince Albert Raiders. A potential top 10 pick for the upcoming National Hockey League draft. He's 5th in Western Hockey League scoring. Lost the puck there. And Valiant flips it out. As hustling back is Yannick Moser. Moser scored against Canada yesterday. The power play goal to tie the game at 2. And a lead pass for Draisaitl in stride. Here he comes. Leon Draisaitl. He shoots. He whistled that wide. And our first real good look at Draisaitl's offensive flash.
I thought yesterday not only did he not get much done, but he looked pretty sluggish. He didn't skate very well yesterday. And for a player who is general manager, Bruno Campesi of the Prince Albert Raiders said he's been the best player in the Western Hockey League the last month or so. It sure wasn't that yesterday. Canada shut him down. They got to him as quickly as they could to get the puck out of his hands.
And Campesi's not the only one saying it. Canadian coach Brent Sutter would agree with that assessment of Draisaitl. He's been awesome in their league. Now puck loose in the corner. Pavel Skalitsky looking for it. This is by him. Back to the point it goes. Ketchkash got spun around. Picked up by Rosenhart to the line and finally out. And Eisenschmidt moves it ahead. In comes Eisenschmidt. Walks in and shoots off a skate wide. And moves to the side of the goal. Halas can't get to it. Sends his man sprawling. Eisenschmidt now picks it up. Marcus Eisenschmidt bottled up along the boards. Revi finally gets it up. Nifty move by Revi. Throws it ahead. And a chance now for the Slovaks. Cooper makes the stop on a terrific feed by Revi as he sent it ahead to David Grieger.
Oh, a little display of the nifty hands of Martin Revi as he dances through the middle of the ice, and Revi's pass is a feather dish up to Grieger. Benoit Groux, who coaches him in the Quebec League in Gatineau, says that he likes, of course, his skill, but the way he competes on the puck. And if you're a small guy and you're that small, you better be hard on the puck. And he was able to do it there and then feathered up a nice little pass.
We're up the face-off. That shot by Predinyansky is deflected up over the crossbar. And Predinyansky throws it back in to the German zone. Revi, by the way, listed at 5'10", 170 pounds.
That's never right.
What?
No, when you're that size, you're always adding a few pounds here or an inch there. I mean, not that I did it. I heard people.
Well, that's according to Central Scouting. I think they had someone watching, didn't they? You don't get to submit that yourself, do you?
No, you'd be surprised how that gets fudged over.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You've exposed the ugly underbelly of heights and weights.
You're a light guy. As soon as you do your blood work, you go and drink about 7 bottles of water. There's a pound, there's 2 pounds. Oh. Yes.
I've been lying about my weight for a long time too, but for a whole different reason.
It's not like that. Gord, we've talked in the U.S. and Canada games about their young people that are eligible for the 15 draft. And here's another one for the Slovaks. Eric Chernik, their defenseman, 6'4" already, 203 pounds. You watch him eliminate Eisenschmidt along the end boards, quickly gets to the puck and moves it up the sidewall. They've got high hopes for him. He's already played in a U18 and a U17 tournament at just 16 years old.
He was actually going to come and play here in Sweden, but elected not to. The puck loose in front, and Horansky couldn't tap it home. Another chance in front, stop. And now Klopper comes ahead for Germany. Patrick Klopper added to the German roster yesterday morning. And the puck up along the top of the boards. Moved ahead by Malinchak.
Just over 10 minutes in, Germany still without a shot.
Chance here now for Ziegler, walking in and shoots. He flipped that wide of the goal. That would have been a shot on goal. And Kabensky gets to it. The puck knocked away from him. And back to pick it up is Martin Ketchkash. Bob has to retreat as Shamoon was on him. And Ketchkash pokes that back to center ice. Now busting in his lob with Eisenschmidt. Lob taking a backhand shot away. Marcus Eisenstein back on it. Germans are changing. His centering pass went off the leg. And Shamoun has it for the Slovaks. One medal for Slovakia all time in the World Junior Championship was in 1999 in Winnipeg. They upset the Swedes 5-4 in the bronze medal game. Marian Gaborik was a 16-year-old star in that tournament for the Slovaks.
Right around the time where they were at their very best.
And a couple years later, they won the World Championship. Really magic generation of Slovak players. Won that championship, and the late Pavel Dimitrov was right in the middle of it.
They had just a fantastic run in Vancouver in the last Olympics. I would say one of my most favorite moments broadcasting a hockey game was watching them in the shootout in that tournament. They had their arms all linked. It was pretty special to be down on the ice to see that.
Levi was battling for it. His man fell. And now Herpik picks up the loose puck for Germany. Throws that back down to the German line. The Slovaks quickly counterattack as Levi sends it ahead. And the pass missed Grieger. Draisaitl collide, and Draisaitl knocks Grieger off the puck. And Draisaitl pokes it ahead quickly. Cahunen across the line. His shot deflects wide of the goal. Still no shots for the Germans. Over 12 minutes into the first period. Bottle up in the corner as Draisaitl has it. Cehlárik steps back at him. Draisaitl falls. And Cehlárik feeds it back. We've seen him with a long shot. That's tipped wide by Lunter. Lunter back with it. Sends it back in front. Dano shot scores. Marko Dano gives the Slovaks a 2-0 lead.
The two best players on either team here link up along the sideboards. It's Dano and Draisaitl. Dano maybe gets away with one here as he kicks out. Oh, he does for sure. He kicks out the feet of Draisaitl. But watch Draisaitl. He's slow to get back to the front. Dano goes to the front, and he beats Draisaitl to the net. While Dano gets away with kicking out Draisaitl's feet, Draisaitl's got to get back into play, and Marko Dano makes no mistake. A beautiful backhand up over top of Marvin Cooper, and it's 2-0 Slovakia.
Marko Dano's dad, Joseph, played in 2 Olympics for the Slovaks in 94, 98, shortly after that country gained its independence. Dano plays for Bratislava in the KHL. He's got 2 goals in 35 games in one of the best men's leagues in the world. Cooper gloves that long shot and hangs on. 7:17 remaining in the first period, and the Slovaks lead 2-0. Gord Miller, Ray Ferraro back here in Malmo, Sweden. Vic Rauter and Jason Strudwick back in the studio. With the Slovaks leading Germany by a score of 2-0, and the Germans looking quite listless in this first period, still without a shot on goal. Malinchar tried to center that for the Slovaks. And Cooper tried to work his way around Chernak. Chernak slides out ahead to Horansky, but the play's offside at the German line.
In each of the timeouts, the German coach, Ernst Hoffner, has had his players down at the bench, and he's trying to talk to them about getting moving here. One thing that's really apparent that wasn't yesterday is Germany's had all kinds of problems getting to the puck first and making it either a D-to-D pass or a direct pass up to their wingers. They haven't moved the puck 1 or 2 times in their own zone. Everything is a chip up the boards. Slovakia is quicker to it. Much like here, they've muddied the water, and Slovakia ends up with the puck. But that puck's got to go D to D, and then they've got all kinds of rooms. They did it decently yesterday against Canada, not today.
Now lob taken down, and a penalty coming to Martin Kečkaš for Slovakia, and the Germans will get a power play here with 6:26 to go in the first period.
Well, maybe this is something that Germany can build on. Their power play yesterday scored a power play goal against Canada that was on a bad turnover, but a direct pass that ended up quickly in the net. There's the penalty on Kečkaš as the puck was turned over in their zone. So Germany will try and get themselves on the board here.
And Cahoon wins the draw back to Moser, who had that power play goal. Moser, though, lets the puck get out, and the play is offside.
4 forwards for Germany on this power play.
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Home Depot. Your Home Depot gift card gets you the gift you really want.
Another beautiful day in southern Sweden. No snow on the ground. Temperature up around 5 degrees Celsius. So the Germans trying to get the power play set up as Draisaitl finds Herpik to Cahoon. Now Draisaitl back at the point. Moser looks for Dominic Tiffel. And Herpik to Cahoon. Tiffel's had it taken away, and a chance now for the Germans as Riva has it. And Riva works his way in 2-on-1 shorthanded, walks in a backhand shot, stopped by Cooper.
He looked like he wanted to move that puck, and pretty soon he got in so deep he had nowhere to go with it.
And Kalina is with it now. Kalina has it again. He turns it over. Dominic Tiffel sends it down in front, and that may be Germany's first shot on goal. As Sable comes out to cover it, we'll check and see if they officially call that Germany's first shot. 14 minutes and 22 seconds into the first period.
Riva's been a very dangerous player throughout this first period. Look, he wants to move it. Now he ends up stopping his feet. And as soon as he stops his feet, now he's coasting. He doesn't release it. And Cooper does a nice job staying in front of him.
Germans win the draw. Ziegler sets it up. Looks down low to Frederick Tiffels. And back at the point is Tim Bender. Gives it across to Frederick Tiffels. And now the puck back to the point, but Bender wasn't there. And it's back down the ice. Now Cooper out to play it, turns the puck over. And Mario Lucic plays it up along the boards. Lucina goes back for it for the Slovaks, brings it around the boards, and not quite out. Ziegler keeps it alive. Eisenschmied for Frederick Tiffel. Eisenschmied back with it. 25 seconds to go on the power play. Frederick Tiffel banks it off the end board. Trying to find Pollock, who comes in to help. Played across to Frederick Tiffel. Not clear. Tiffel sends it back in front. It's hammered wide by Ziegler. Eisenschmied with it. Down to Pollock. Frederick Tiffel drops it back door. There's a save made by Sable. The one-timer by Eisenschmied. The only good scoring chance the Slovaks faced on that German power play.
Well, there's a bit of a mental game. That's 15 and a half minutes. That's their first real shot on goal, and Sable has to push hard left to right all the way across the net.
Now Draisaitl across the line, flips that across, and the centering pass from Max Kammerer is knocked away. Draisaitl to Kammerer. Draisaitl still battling for it, lost the battle. And sent ahead by Valen. Busting in is Minarek, and a penalty coming now to Germany. As David Minarek went in, and he was obstructed on the way in, and Wagner will go off.
So as Slovakia goes to the power play, their goaltender Sable finally gets in the game here. And look at that stop, gets across, flattens out the pad as he was moving across, and then squeezes it flat to the ice on the shot by Eisenschmied. There's the penalty to Wagner, and it took Slovakia just 13 seconds for a rather odd power play goal to go into opening scoring. This is their second power play of the afternoon.
Germans win the draw though, and Dominic Tiffels fires the puck down the ice.
2 minutes penalty for breaking time, 60 minutes and 11 seconds.
Brendan Yansky trying to shoot that in for the Slovaks, but it's bounced back out of the zone, and Patrick Luza goes back to pick it up. Brendan Yansky through the middle to Kalina, and Kalina wraps that around the boards, looking for Revi. Leaves it there for Brendan Yansky. His pass for Revi misses, picked up by Grieger. David Grieger. Down to Kalina. And Kalina has that back, and Revi's centering pass goes off a stick, ramps up and wide. Now Grieger back with it. Kalina to Grieger. And Grieger snaps that pass right back across. And here's Grieger walking and shoots, and Cooper got an arm on that, and a sweet feed from Revi. Revi back with it. Kalina sends it back, Grieger shoots and scores! Power play goal for David Grieger. It's a 3-0 lead for the Slovaks on their second power play goal.
Well, beautiful puck work. The difference between the first chance and the second chance is that they used Kalena on the goal line. The first one is Revi all the way across to Grieger, and Cooper is able to get across to square up to the shot. Now, the puck is held on the boards by Revi to Kalena on the goal line, and his back pass is a beauty. It goes right through the goal crease, and Grieger's ecstatic as Slovakia has just pounded the Germans here early. It's 3-0 on 2 power play goals. 17 and a half minutes into the first.
So Grieger plays junior hockey in the MHL, which is the Russian version of a junior league. The MHL is for under 21s. There's for Karlovy Vary.
He was added late to the roster. His teams are still adding players at various times. As long as they keep a spot open, they can until the medal round. But Grieger just absolutely hammers in a beautiful feed from Kalena, who's got a power play goal and an assist here in the first period.
And 2 minutes to go in the opening period. The lead pass goes to Lunto. Back at the point, it's squeezed by Marko Dano. He's got one of the Slovak goals. You liked Dano last year in Russia.
I absolutely did. I like the way that he played, the way that he stayed on the puck. This year he looks a little stronger as well, which will be a challenge for him as he transitions into North American hockey at some point, a first-round draft pick of the Blue Jackets. You can see he's got a skill-based game. I like the way he moves around the ice. And look at what's happened here. The German's best player here, not to talk only that he's the only guy that can do anything. Draisaitl has got nothing done. And the 2 best players for Slovakia, Revi and Dano, have been in on all 3 goals.
Tibensky flips that around, scooped up quickly by Malinchar. Tibensky back on it. You talked about it off the top of the show that for 2 teams trying to win relegation, they'll depend on the handful of star players they have.
And it's not been much contest so far.
For Draisaitl, of course, is a very important tournament. He's being watched closely by NHL scouts. It doesn't make or break you, but a good World Junior certainly helps. Orensky. That pass knocked down. Lob has it for Germany. And now picked up by Manarek. Long pass ahead for Malinchar, missed. And icing waved off as Dominic Tipples goes back for it. 25 seconds to go into period. Eisenschmied picks his way ahead for Germany. Marcus Eisenschmied gets around the defender, walks out in front, flips that wide of the goal.
He's been the one guy with energy today for Germany. He's had their only shot. He's had a couple of real nice rushes.
Now Lob with it in the final seconds of the period. Fallon steps into him. And that's where the period will end as Slovakia bursts out of the gate with 3 to take a 3-0 lead on the German.
The first period scoring summary is brought to you by Canadian Tire. Columbus has to be happy. Their first-round pick, Marko Dano, has a goal. Germany, with just 1 shot, came at 14:22 of that period. 3-0 Slovakia. Back to Malmo. Gordon Ray.
Thank you, Vic. A lot of people in the scouting community picking Slovakia as a dark horse candidate to challenge for a medal, and we saw a pretty good first period from them.
That was unexpected for me, that they were going to dominate the period as they did. Start to finish, from the very first shift, there was nothing that the Slovaks did not do better than Germany. They worked harder. They won almost every loose battle on the puck. Their back pressure was exquisite, and they had 2 power play goals in the period. The first one by Kalena is a lucky one that bounced off a couple of people, but this one by Grieger is beautiful puck work to give them a 3-0 lead. And as Vic mentioned, just 1 shot for Germany in that period, easily turned aside, and Slovakia full marks for a dominant 3-0 lead.
So again, a format change of this year's World Junior. In past years, 2 groups of 5. The top 3 would go to the medal round. First place team would get a bye. The bottom 4 would advance to the relegation side. Now, it's the top 4 in each group that advance to the medal round. Everyone plays in the quarterfinals. The bottom 2 play in a best-of-3 relegation side, and the bottom team is eliminated. So the loser of this game is going to have to upset one of the Czechs, Americans, or Canada to have a shot at avoiding being 5th in this group. Luza keeps it alive for the Slovaks. Now the centering pass bounces away from Kalina. Cahoon through the middle for Draisaitl, and a big collision at the line as Draisaitl got tangled up with Patrick Luza. The stick went up inside his sweater, and he'll get untangled. The puck goes to the sidewall, the lob. Draisaitl leaves it there, and Bender steps up for the Germans. In behind the goal for Draisaitl, taken away from him. Bender back with it. More and more NHL scouts are trickling in. We saw a couple of here with this game later on today. Finland makes a tournament debut, taking on Norway. The Finns will look to bounce back from a very disappointing World Junior last year when they were 7th.
They go up against Norway that just got crushed yesterday by the Russians, 11-0.
The Russians scored at will in that game. So we'll pencil in Norway to be 5th in the other group with Sweden, Russia, Finland, and Switzerland in there.
Yeah, the decision desk might call that one early.
Now Lunter walks in and fires. Cooper got a piece of that, and it bounces back down in the corner. Mario Lunter. Plays the Slovak extra leg. Now the centering pass knocked down. A chance in front to score. Centered by Cehlarik. And the Slovaks have a 4-0 lead.
Well, this play starts when Luther absolutely runs over Seftel in the corner right here. Just absolutely steamrolls him. And this puck is delivered twice by Cehlarik, the Boston draft pick, to the front of the net. Marco Dano second. Right on the doorstep, right at the top of the blue paint. He makes no mistake. That's a well-executed forecheck. Started with the crushing hit by Luther in the corner.
So Dano off to a great start. He's got a pair of goals already in the tournament. He had 4 in 6 games last year.
Both goals from a foot in front of the blue paint. The goal scorer gets to the scoring area. He finishes twice. Slovakia is up 4.
But you made the comment about him last year in a 2-goal game where he barely touched the puck, just to tap it in.
He seems to have a knack to get to where he needs to go to, but what I'm seeing more this year, Gord, is just a strength to the way he gets around the ice. He looks like a much stronger young player than he did last year.
Here's Nabil Karim.
Gord, I talked to Javorjek Norbert. He's the assistant coach for Slovakia, and he told me the key for them in that first period was being very active. They had lots of energy, and he said they didn't give Germany any chances. They really clogged the neutral zone. I asked him about focusing on Leon Draisaitl. He said, we know he's a good player. We know he can score, but at the end of the day, he's just one man. We're more focused on a team game.
And that's been the Slovak MO in successful years for them at the World Junior, the World Championship, and the Olympic level. They're greater than the sum of the parts.
Now, it's difficult when you watch a game like this to evaluate what the Slovaks really are, because they've been dominant, they've been quicker, they've been more physical, and it's tough to marry. Is that because Germany has played so poorly, or because Slovakia has given them no room to breathe?
We'll get a better idea tomorrow when they take on the United States. Now a steal, Draisaitl walks in, sends it back in front, they score! Dominic Cahoon on the feed from Draisaitl, and Germany is on the board.
Well, there's the first appearance for Leon Draisaitl. He takes a gift turnover at the top of the blue line, and he starts to dangle his way through the Slovak defense. And Cahoon is going to be on the doorstep to make his finish. The clear is right on tape. Draisaitl corrals the puck, gets to his backhand, and then makes a nice soft pass. And Germany's second shot ends up in the net.
Dominic Cahoon, who plays for Sudbury in the Ontario Hockey League, cashes on the feed from Draisaitl. Germany won 1 game last year at the World Junior Championship. It was against Latvia on the relegation side, and that win kept them from going down. So Sable, who hasn't been very busy, gets beaten there. And Germany on the board. Merrick walks in, shoots off the side of the goal. And back the other way they come. Ladislav Filin with a shot that Sable handles easily. Back down to fill it. I want to go back to Bender, but he was tied up, and now a penalty is going to come to Slovakia's Prednjansky. He got the hold of the German player. And so shortly after scoring their first goal of the game, the Germans will get a power play 3 minutes and 28 seconds into the second period.
Prednjansky gets the arm wrapped around Ziegler in the corner. If Germany can get anything going on the power play, in most unlikely fashion, would be back into this game. The German power play has not been very good. They got a power play goal against Canada on a Canadian turnover, but in their first one they had just one attempt on goal. It was their only shot in the first period. They had trouble getting set up.
Now they win the face-off back to Moser. Draisaitl pulls it in for Cahoon. Draisaitl. A slap pass goes off a stick. Actually hit the ceiling here. They steady in a very low ceiling in the middle. And the puck struck it. And the face-off will stay in the Slovak zone. Maybe a bit of an updated Moose Jaw rink, the old Moose Jaw rink, right?
Oh, the crushed can was something. That, I guess, slightly updated. New building in Moose Jaw. But the crushed can was something. You'd go in there and it seemed like the ceiling was about the same height as your bedroom.
But like that building, you can't see clear across in this one. You can't see the seats in the upper deck on the other side.
They did a good job with this rink, though. I really like this rink. It's got a lot of zip to it. It's loud. I hated rinks you played in that were very quiet. It felt like it was too easy to get out of the game.
Dano pokes it out for the Slovaks. Not much doing this power play so far for Germany. Several leaves it there. And we've seen him plays it off the boards, but not out. Draisaitl down to Cahoon in the corner. Dominic Cahoon centers it. Here's a chance for Bender. He risked that wide, and now Draisaitl back with it. To Cahoon, back to Bender. Cahoon drops it down to Draisaitl, trying to find Herpik in front. Draisaitl back with it. Loose behind the goal with 35 seconds to go on the power play. Flips it back in front, but the pass is intercepted by Dano, and he sends it down the ice. Tim Penn with the London Knights. To Pilar. Head to Frederick Tiffel. That shot for Ziegler rattles off the glass. Bender back with it. Fires it back around in the final seconds of the power play. And Ziegler picks it up and throws it back behind the goal. Pollock muscle off the puck. It's by Bender and out. And that's going to do it for this German power play.
That was Chernik, that 16-year-old defenseman we talked about earlier, Gordon, with the second time tonight have noticed him close, finish, and release, clear the puck. Very efficient for such a young player.
Offside the call at the Slovak line. No shots on goal for Germany on that power play.
Look how quickly he's onto the loose puck. He pushes Palouche against the boards and ends up clearing the puck around a highly touted player for the 2015 draft. And we know how teams start to want to acquire defensemen, and they start looking at these guys and think of what they can be when they get to the National Hockey League level. He's already 6'4". He's already 200 pounds.
They've grown big in Slovakia.
We got another guy there that's pretty big, don't they?
Let's with a shot. And the save made by Cooper. This time there's no rebound.
Well, certainly been busy over the first 4 periods or so of the World Junior Championship. Marvin Cooper has faced a number of very good scoring opportunities. Look how quickly Slovakia gets through the neutral zone. A pass up the boards, and Germany's not tight enough on the forwards. The pass gets to Skalitsky, and his shot is handled nicely by Cooper, but so quickly out of their zone, there's no chance for danger.
Finland won that draw away from Kalina. Boatsenhart works ahead for Germany, fires it down to the Slovak zone. Patrick Luza. Up ahead for David Grigger. Rive trying to find Kalina, that's knocked away. Prednjansky knocks it in. Prednjansky's name bar starts at his left elbow and makes its way all the way to his right. We asked the GM how you say it today. He said, like it's spelled. which was no help whatsoever.
And there's a couple of names on here, just like it spells. It's pretty tough to come up with.
You get Pergniansky and Scrabble. There's a chance to score. Kalena fires it home. He's got 2. And the Slovaks answer back. It's 5-1.
3 points for Kalena today. First 2 have been on the power play. This one, he gets so wide open to the left of Marvin Cooper. He's got all kinds of time to do anything he wants with it, but Grieger gets to the puck first. Revised passes on the tape, and then he pounds this up over top of Cooper in the German net. This line has been trouble for Germany the entire afternoon. 3 points for Kalena, their captain, and it's 5-1. 3 assists for Martin Revi as well, as he has shown off his passing skills that we were expecting to see again this year. The Montreal Canadiens 4th rounder.
Back there for Germany, but the play is offside. 5-1, Slovakia leads. We're back with more on TSN after this. 5-1, Slovakia leads. The shots are 17-2 in favor of the Slovaks. So the only downside for Slovakia is that Sable's save percentage is 50. Now Cahoon comes busting in. Dominic Cahoon with Draisaitl. Cahoon in. And there's a save by Sable with the right pad. And the puck sent back down to the German zone. So now it's 67.
Slow but sure. He needs another 7 or 8 shots to get up to, 7 shots to get to 90. It might be a long afternoon that way.
Well, we wondered about, from the German side, why Cooper stayed in for the whole game against Canada. You knew that Germany would be playing Slovakia today in an important game. But they went with them, and they kept running their top players through at the end of the game as well. Now, at this age, does back-to-back really play a role?
Nah, not as much as when you're older, for sure. I think the biggest thing I've seen is that after the poor start, Germany's looked discouraged. They haven't been aggressive on the puck. I thought yesterday against Canada, they, perhaps there was a little fear in their game, and when you're worried about things, sometimes you play better. And I thought Germany did an okay job yesterday. Today has just been a mess for them. Their 2 best offensive players are Cahoon, 21, of course, and we've talked a pile about Leon Draisaitl, and here he just feathers off a beautiful pass to Cahoon. His shot is deflected, but Sable has to make the stop. Those 2 players who both play in the CHL, Draisaitl and Prince Albert, Cahoon in Sudbury, combined for another good scoring chance after hooking up for the only German goal.
Seaver works in and fires, and Sable knocks that away. And click, 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 up goes the save percentage.
Are you going to give a running total?
No. Well,
it's 75 now.
Might be able to. Another steal by the Germans as Philin has it, shoots, and Sable makes the stop, and now it's 80.
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Home Depot. Your Home Depot gift card gets you the gift you really want.
Just so you're not fooled here, Gord's going to his calculator.
Hey, come on.
As we get the shots 6, 7, and 8.
Don't be busting me on stuff like that. You ruined the illusion of a math wizard.
No, but the first 5 were okay.
And there's another one as Cahoon got a good shot away, and Sable made the stop up high.
Gord, it's Draisaitl and Cahoon again have come alive here.
That's 83%. I give up. You took all the fun away from it.
But in honesty, you had done the first 5 shots in your head, which was really impressive, I might add. Draisaitl and Cahoon are going to hook up on this play, and the one thing we're starting to see is Draisaitl's had the puck on his stick a little bit more, as he's got a real nice eye to find the pass lane. We saw the one that he gave Cahoon, the semi-breakaway pass. See that one there where he goes between the stick and skates of the player? You can see why he's a dangerous player in Prince Albert.
So if you're scouting the first couple of games for Germany, what are you seeing?
From Draisaitl?
Yeah.
I'm seeing a player that got discouraged real early. That looked like he felt he was a one-man band. He stopped passing the puck and tried to do too much by himself. Now he has something good happen for him. And he started to come alive here.
Philin winds his way through the middle of the ice for Germany. That pass knocked away. And Gahulinets with a lead pass. It's chipped back down to the zone by Lunter. And Lunter on the loose puck for Slovakia. Bumped there by Philin. The puck remains in the corner. Solaric tried to take that away. Finally picked up by Dorian Safetel, who opened the scoring yesterday against Canada, shocking the Canadians with an early goal. There's Solaric with it, who plays here in Sweden for Luleå. Plays in the Swedish Elite League, actually. And more young players, we're talking about 15, 16, 17-year-olds, are coming to Sweden to play in their junior league. Cooper sees that, drips just wide. Malinchar sends it back in front. Penalty coming. And Malinchar couldn't get the backline shot away, but the Germans are about to go shorthanded. Goes back at the point. They score! Gahulinets with the point shot that goes straight through. And the Germans won't be shorthanded after all because it's 6-1.
Not sure if this puck is deflected on the way, Gord. As the Slovaks get their sixth player on the ice as the goaltender leaves on the delayed penalty. The point shot, oh yeah, it deflects here off the defenseman's stick from Germany. Off of Safetel's stick. So nice play down low as Baranski comes around and finds Gahulinets at the blue line, and his point shot deflects in. And Slovakia pours it on. 6-1.
So Daniel Gahulinets, we got a few games in the Slovak Extra League last year, so these players that play for the Slovak junior team also can play in the Slovak Extra League, so they bounce back and forth between the two, and sometimes find themselves playing against their club team or the junior team. The shots are 18-6 in favor of the Slovaks. Well, they're giving that goal to Malinchar. And quite often, even though the goal is awarded incorrectly, they won't change it. We've seen that with assists and other plays. And Tibensky gets a shot away. Now the Germans counterattack as Kammerer fires out on goal. Sable makes the easy stop there. And Skalitsky brings it ahead for Slovakia. Up ahead for Tibensky. Tibensky takes up the loose puck for Skalitsky. Yansky with a shot that was partially blocked as diving in front of that was Cahoon. And Tibensky flips that back towards the goal, and Cooper will hang on to that and get a face off in the German zone.
Get another look at this, the point shot. Gahulinets is going to deflect off the German player here. I think it goes straight in off of the German stick, but they've awarded it to Malinchar. And finally, Marvin Cooper gets a break.
So 8.5 to go in the second period. He gets lifted, and in comes Patrick Klein for Germany. Plays for Duisburg in the German third league. So Cooper allows 6 goals on 18 shots. That's a save percentage, by the way, of .667.
That's from Scotty Lennox.
No, I did it myself.
No.
See? Revive
I can't buy that.
Well, it's 1/3.
Wow, that's excellent math. Don't start getting into math lessons here. I'm going to drop out of this in a hurry.
Yansky fires that down in the German zone. Revi gets to it first, centers it, and that went by 4 Slovak players and out to center ice. Now Revi centers it and just missed playing with that pass. Well, this line's making a lot happen for the Slovaks. As Grieger's in kicking at it. Plays it down to Revi. Revi looks in front. Dano was there. Kahulinas to Revi. Flip back in front, intercepted. And Germany's away as Lucas Laub brings it in. Tries to find Ziegler. Sven Ziegler battles for the puck. Wagner trying to keep it alive. He does for the moment. Laub comes in and finally played out back down to the German line. Bolzenhardt swings back for Germany. Thomas Bolzenhardt will place for Susan. The German leg ahead for Laub. Laub stripped the puck by Dano. We've seen a couple of times in this game Marco Dano with slick hands plays in his own end of the ice.
That's one thing that perhaps gets lost is what a checker or a defending player is. If he's got good hands, he can really break plays up as well. A lot of times the defending player is just someone that gets it, he's big and strong and chips it out of the zone. A handsy player can be a real asset in the defensive zone as well. He's still going to make a pass to get it out of the zone.
Fallon throws that head kick down to Eisenschmidt. Ballosport held up the line. The long shot kicked away by Sable. Scotty Bowman would often say the player who was the very best at chipping pucks out along the wall, Brett Hull. Stands to reason Hull had great hands.
Now, Scotty had him later in his career when Hully actually was back there a little bit.
Yeah. That whole different deal there. Late Brett Hull. 6:07 to go here in the second period. 2014 World Junior Hockey Championship. The Germans have lost another player. Leonard Talach has gone to the German dressing room. Yesterday they lost Parker Twomey in the game against Canada. So already playing a skater under the regulation 20. They're now down for now by 2. And they're both forwards. Dinda trying to clear that up for the Germans and for the Slovaks and couldn't. Now instead of Cahoon walks in. Cahoon sends it across and Moser couldn't get a shot away. Moser back on it. Cahoon plays it down for Draisaitl. Dominic Tippel steps up for the German. Down low to Draisaitl, bounced off his stick and out. Draisaitl fights off Ketchkesh. Sends it back in front. Cahoon centers it, but right on the stick of Slovakia's Pavel Skolitsky. Hustler back from Germany. There's Yannick Moser to take it away. He'll be going to Ohio State University next year. Playing for Muskegon in the USHL. Kammerer. In for Germany. Backhands that wide of the goal. 5 to go in the second period. Slovakia leading it 6-1. And Draisaitl takes a whack at it. Kammerer puts it wide. And at the line, Bender can't hold for the Germans as Rive breaks on him. Revi tried to get it. Looks like nifty move by Revi to hop around Kammerer, but he lost the puck. And Cahoon looks ahead for Draisaitl. End of a very long shift for Draisaitl. He's tied up by Luza in the corner. Centers, and Ziegler with a shot. Save made. As Sable sprawls down to stop that, and Bender has it back at the point. This shot banks off the end boards, and back to Philip. Chipped in front by Ziegler, and the pass on the way out is David Grieger. Ziegler back with it for Germany. And that shot goes off the stick of Luza, up and out of play.
Gord, you mentioned Leonard Palush going to the German locker room. It's kind of an odd play as he goes to hit the Slovak defenseman and he bounces off him immediately. His left arm is uncomfortable. And he goes straight to the locker room after a couple of moments on the bench with the trainer.
So the Germans basically only have 3 lines left. Germany plays the U.S. on Sunday and the Czechs on Monday to close out the round robin. Slovaks have the U.S. tomorrow, Canada Monday. They'll play New Year's Eve against the Czechs.
Well, the U.S. is here watching the game, and if they didn't know much about Slovakia before, they're going to know that they can skate and they're dogged on the puck. if they were at all looking past them, you would think this would serve as a little bit of an attention getter for them.
None of the players in this tournament for the Czechs or the Slovaks were alive when the old Czechoslovakia split. So for them, that's just a page in a history book. But it was bitter in international hockey between those two countries when it first happened.
It's like one day you're a team, you are a country, and then everything's changed. I mean, obviously from the hockey standpoint, but just everything that you've known your entire life has gone and changed. For these players, that's not been the case.
Horansky puts that wide. 2.5 to go in the period. Horansky battling for the corner. Eisenschmidt takes it away. And Lob got stood up in the blue line but played it back down to the Slovak zone. Malinchar throws that ahead for Minarik. Minarik comes in and fires, and the save is made by Patrick Klein.
It might have been Patrick Klein's first stop of the period since he's replaced Marvin Cooper in the German net. He's not taken his mask off the top of his head. He's given up 13 goals in a little over a period and a half, and yet you can't really fault him. Many of them have been from just outside the blue paint. Several second opportunities, and it's been a long start to the tournament for Marvin Cooper. Plays in Shawinigan in the Quebec League, has 5 wins there.
Yeah, not a strong team in the Quebec League. Bender plays it back. Kammerer fell in the play. Bransky sends that back for Vallon, who shoots it wide. Minarik back to Vallon. Off balance shot. That floats high and wide as well. And Cahoon picked it up for Germany along with Draisaitl. In comes Cahoon. Kammerer makes his way off on the change as Cahoon tries to center it. Klopper reaching for it. But the Slovaks have it. Malinchar. For Tepensky, a big collision down in the corner as Tepensky lost the puck. Draisaitl finds Klopper. Coming in his pocket with a shot that deflects wide. Now Bolsonaro hustles back as Tepensky closes on him. Rink wide pass goes to Ziegler. In comes Ziegler with Klopper, a long shot. And Sable hangs on to that.
The long shot with no traffic that Sable is able to glove. Ziegler had a puck bounce off him earlier into the German net for a power play goal against. Here it's a long wrist shot. And these Germans will start to get worn down, as you mentioned, Gord. Just 10 forwards, 11 to start the game, now down to 10. And there's just nowhere to go. There's no relief to be had.
Dominic Tipples has that flutter down. And Sable hangs on to that. Sable's in his 3rd year with his team. Did not get any action last year in Ufa, Russia. Played for Green Bay, as we mentioned, the U.S. Hockey League last year, but he's back in Slovakia this year playing for the Slovak junior team, Team Orange. Interesting idea. The Czechs are trying ways to keep their players at home as well. They're mandating the Czech extra league teams must keep players under 22 in their lineup. The Swedes tried to force their players to sign contracts so they wouldn't go to North America. That kind of backfired on them. And Levi's pass is turned away. But it's an ongoing issue for a lot of countries trying to keep their players at home. And the story we often tell about them at this level is some pushing and shoving breaks out now as Lob's in there with Prudniansky. But the Slovak general manager telling us we must keep our players at home. We must stop them from going to the Canadian Hockey League. To which I said, oh, but your son plays in Prince Albert. He said, yes, yes.
So if they can make their junior leagues better, or if they can make a program more attractive for them, then those players do start to stay in. You know, we've talked a little bit about it. When the best players leave, the entire league flattens out.
Right.
The ceiling gets lower for them. When the better players can stay at home. Marko Dano has left Slovakia. He plays in the KHL. If there was a better option for him, maybe he'll stay. he's in Slovakia, then that junior team, that orange program is better.
Now a lead pass to Draisaitl. Ian being hooked there, and Dano came back to take it away. Draisaitl looking back at the official, thought there should have been a penalty. And so the Slovaks open it up in the second period. They lead 6-1 after 40 minutes on day 2 of the 2014 World Junior Hockey Championship.
The second period scoring summary is brought to you by Sport Check. Second goals of the game for Marko Dano, Milan Kolena. Interesting to note, though, Germany outshot Slovakia 13-8 in that period. Back to Malmo now. Mr. Miller, Mr. Ferraro.
Thank you, Vic. So this top line for Slovakia has done some damage tonight and looks as though it might be able to do the same thing going forward.
We talked a lot about Marko Dano coming into the game. He's on their second line, or a different line than this one that has just absolutely ripped up the Germans this afternoon. The centerman, the captain, Milan Kolena, has got a couple of power play goals. Martin Rivai has been terrific. His passing skill has been very evident. And David Grieger's got a goal and 2 assists. 9 points for this line through the first 2 periods. Germany's had no answer really for anybody in blue, certainly not that trio.
So the teams will start the third period 5-on-5. Germany plays the U.S. next. And so does Slovakia. The Slovaks have the United States tomorrow. Dominic Tipples with it for Germany. So again, the loser of this game becomes the odds-on favorite to find itself on the relegation side of this tournament, although there are many, Ray, who believe that the Slovaks can do some damage in this event. As Cahoon comes in, his shot kicked away by Sable. They're 95 birth year, so their 18-year-olds in this team have done some damage in under 17 and under 18 competition.
We'll see tomorrow. We'll see how they manage defensively, because they have not been under any stress at all. The goalkeeper hasn't had much to do throughout the first 2 periods, and you would think there would be a push that they're going to have to answer, because they've looked terrific here this afternoon.
Flip back in front, Frederick Tipples plays that down to Lucas Laub, and again the problem for Germany is their ranks are becoming depleted. They lost a player yesterday against Canada, another today. They have one open spot they can name, but they're running out of forwards. Dano centers that, and Marko Dano's pass just out of the reach. Archuleta. Brought back in by Laub, who fires it to the Slovak zone. And back to pick it up is Thomas Rusina. And here comes the 16-year-old, Derek Chernak. The 14 is going to attract the attention of a lot of scouts here, not eligible for the draft until 2015. And you'd have to go back and look through the records officially to see how many times there were this many players who weren't eligible until the draft after the next one, playing in the same tournament. Canada has Connor McDavid. The U.S. has Jack Eichel. And they're all making noise.
Czechs have a young player as well.
Yeah, Zaka. That was Sable for that puck, and he'll fall on that. Got a bit of a ice shower from Klopper. Here again is Nabil Karim.
Gord, I talked to Pat Cortina. He's part of the team staff for Germany, and he said the first 40 minutes, well, they hurt themselves. He said they got way too complicated. They needed to play a vertical, simple style of hockey. They said they didn't do that. And when they went down, they started to really open up. They can't play that type of game. He said in the third period, it's all about cleaning up their habits and trying to get their energy and emotional level up like it was against Canada.
Cortina, the team manager for Germany and assistant coach for Montreal.
Meet all kinds of people from all kinds of places at this tournament. And what you do find sometimes is how small the hockey world is.
It used to be funny doing the World Championship, and you'd see the Swiss team bus open up, and the guys would all be saying, "Hey, Gord, say to my folks from Sault Ste. Marie," or Had everyone in Kelowna for me.
Well, the Swiss coach this year is from the same area as Bob McKenzie.
Yeah, went to the same high school as Bob McKenzie. See, Bob McKenzie could have coached a national team in the World Junior instead of managing 30 teams in the NHL simultaneously. And there is Ernst Hoffner, with his 13th year as the head coach of the German national junior team. He played in the very first World Junior Championship, the first official one back in 1977. Luza with a shot that drifts wide. And here's Grieger with it. Yannick Moser. Leaves it back for Draisaitl, turns it over to Revi. And Revi sends it back to Luza, whose stick blew up on him as he took the one-timer. Now Grieger down to Kalena, rink wide. Revi sends it back in front for Kalena. That's knocked away. And Rusina with it. Grieger walks it back. Now center for Grieger, and that pass from Kalena was off his skate and back up to center ice. Rusina for Revi. And Revi flips that back in front for Grieger. He finds Revi. Kalena to Revi. You can't get the puck from these guys. And Revi plays that back to Rusina. Revi plays it neatly off the back of the net. Walks out, centers it. And Grieger couldn't reach it. And finally the Germans are out as Lucas Lob has it. And Lob tries to split the Slovak D and fires that shot high and wide. Jim Bender to Frederick Tipples. That pass through his feet. And here they come again. Cehlarik centers for Dano with a backhand shot. That goes wide. Cehlarik looks back in front again. And Isaac Schmid sends it back down to the Slovak zone. Hulinets plays it across to Valent. Michael Valent sends it right down on the German goal where Patrick Klein, who came on in relief of Marvin Cooper, leaves it there to Vladislav Filip. We talked about it yesterday during the Canada game. One of the big problems for German hockey is that each team in the German Elite League allows 9 imports. So those players, mostly older from North America or other European leagues, chew up the spots and might otherwise go to younger players.
And so the players start bouncing team to team. They play a few games here. They play a couple games in the Elite League. They move to a secondary junior league, and pretty soon there's no development. And until you can get people to stay together and the junior leagues become a league of true development, then you can only be so good. And I think that becomes evident. They have some higher skilled players, and then there's like no middle class to their roster.
Right. That long shot, score! There's Moser again with a point shot. Was tipped in front. Looked like Dominic Cahoon got a piece of that. And the Germans have two.
Again, Draisaitl starts with the puck on the sideboards, and it looks like if Germany's going to score any goals, this line's going to have everything to do with it. And Cahoon's going to get his second here as Draisaitl gets the puck to the point. You see Cahoon in front of the net, a nice deflection. The goaltender, Sabo, has moved all the way over. It's like he's going to take this directly with his chest, and when he does that, he opens up the middle of the net. Cahoon's second on the deflection, and the Germans close to 6-2.
Another guy who plays in North America for the Sudbury Wolves of the OHL, but as the Slovaks were saying, the problem when your players go to play in North America is you lose touch with them. How many minutes do they play? Who do they play with? It's hard to get a real feel for where they are in terms of development. Of course, in Germany, there's no shortage of sports for top athletes to play. And not just the traditional sports, but handball is big in Germany, as it is here.
And you compete for the same athletes. There's just not enough to spread them out to different sport to sport.
Bob Johnson, the late U.S. hockey coach used to say that if the United States could only get 10% of its best athletes to play hockey, it would be unstoppable. They weren't looking for hockey players at that time. They were looking for athletes. Offsides the call at the German line. The score now 6-2 in favor of Slovakia. 10th meeting all time between the Slovaks and the Germans at the World Junior Hockey Championship. Germany has won one of them. Last 2 meetings had gone to overtime, but if that happens this time around, we got ourselves a story. Canada back in action tomorrow against the Czech Republic in the second game in this arena. The first game has the U.S. taking on Slovakia. Looking forward to that. See how the Slovaks do against Team USA.
The U.S. had to work for about 28 or 30 minutes after a quick 2-0 lead yesterday. They didn't have an easy time against the Czechs, and they ended up with a big penalty kill and then a goal immediately after that helped them stretch the game out. It'll be interesting to see if Slovakia can play with the same pace tomorrow. Will they be as confident against the U.S. as they've been today?
Now a chance in front. Here's Grieger, back loose in front. Rive scores! And there is Martin Rive, who's been setting up goals, potting one. And it's 7-2 Slovaks.
Another turnover inside the blue line, and as they were halfway through a change, Dano was on the ice with Rive and Grieger. And it's the work by Rive on the turnover. He and Grieger exchanged the puck 2 feet in front of the net. Rive stay on the puck, little give and go. He gets back to the net and is able to slide that underneath the goalkeeper. 4 points each for Grieger and Rive.
And a 7-2 Slovak lead. What if the Germans would look and try to set up a program like the Slovaks have? Perhaps keep their players at home if they could. Find a place for them to play. The Russians have tried the MHL, which is the junior version of the KHL, under 21 league. Finns have a strong junior league. As Marco Dano busts in, and look at the chance, scores! Mario Lunter walks in and fires at home. It's 8-2 Slovakia.
Slovaks can move the puck. I mean, they have more room here against Germany than they're going to have tomorrow, but Lunter, who started a goal earlier in the game with an absolutely devastating body check, takes the nifty little drop pass for Marco Dano, and Dano's fine day continues as well. And Lunter rifles this past Patrick Klein, and the lead stretches again.
And Marco Dano grabs the puck. What? If they're collecting pucks for mementos tonight, they're going to run out.
Look like a coal bin by the time they're finished.
Well, the German net has looked like a coal bin today. And we've got an interference penalty coming up with 11:27 to go. And there's some more ill will breaking out as Slovakia's Filip Malinchar goes off.
Germany on the power play here this is a point in the game for both teams. They want to get through without any more damage physically here. And there's the interference penalty for Slovakia. Of course, they play tomorrow. You want to make sure you don't burn anyone out, and now they don't have to. They can play all 4 lines and all 8 defensemen. And Germany's already banged up enough. Down 2 forwards in the first 2 games.
The big hit on the side, boys. Frederick Timmels with a shot. The rebound dribbles away. Now Timmels back on it. Back for Bender. In comes Tim Bender. His pass broken up by Dinda. Frederick Tiffels trying to hold the line. It does. For Law, back to Tiffels. That's intercepted and sent down by Shamoon. And Ziegler brings it ahead for Germany to Draisaitl. Leon Draisaitl feeds that ahead. The Hood into the backdoor pass, but it's flipped high. As Max Kammerer was the trailer on that play. Valiant lost the handle on it. Here comes Ziegler with a chance now with Kammerer. And Ziegler trying to send that in front. That's blocked by a sprawling Eric Chernak. And on the backhand, sent out by Minarik. Moser being harassed there by Skalitsky. And picked up again by Moser. 40 seconds to go in the German power play. Draisaitl. His pass was chopped down on a nifty hands play by Tabensky and sent back down the ice. Dominic Tiffel to Kammerer. And Draisaitl racing for it. The puck goes high off the glass. Dominic Tiffel trying to knock it down. It was squeezed by him. And Moser backboard for Germany. Once again, not much doing on the German power play. America got a big shot there from Wagner. These boards don't give much.
The Glass does, though. Glass is...
Now Fillin walks in, able to save on him.
The Glass has actually got a little bit of give to it.
It's like a sheet of plastic almost. Fillin in again, flips that wide of the goal. But the boards are rock hard. Like so many board systems in Europe, they're either set in concrete or just braced with steel, and there's no give to them whatsoever. One can only imagine these kind of boards with the physical North American style of play. The carnage would be horrendous.
And that's why they made the change. I mean, they have the new board system is somewhat more receptive to a hit. I've always wondered why they haven't been able to come up with a set of boards like the old Buffalo Auditorium, which was nice and cushy.
Revi drops, and Kalina had that skip away from him.
To me, it would make a lot of sense.
Revi back on it. Trying to play it back for Yansky. That got away from him. And now Revi flips that ahead and a chance down for a 2-on-1. Kalina in across the line, and Grieger looks skyward as the play was called offside at the German line.
The Germans come up with a pretty nifty play here. Draisaitl to Cahoon, and Cahoon goes back between his legs. Kammerer shoots this up over the net, but Cahoon, who's got both goals today, with a nifty little pass. This is that last play prior to the offside. That's about the 5th or 6th steal of the day for Martin Rive. He's got the puck, he gets it, he loses it, and he's got a way to dig his way back into the play.
Now Racina has to create his Draisaitl is working on him with Kammerer. And Kammerer's shot kicked away by Sable. And Marco Dano up ahead for Cehlarik. Loose puck in front for Cehlarik, walks in and shoots. And that's squeezed by Klein. 8-2, the Slovaks lead, 7:31 to go in the third. Back in Malmo, Sweden, day 2 of the 2014 World Junior Hockey Championship has Slovakia leading Germany 8-2. Later on this afternoon here, Finland will take on Norway. The Finns tournament debut as Finland walks in on a 2-on-1 and Ziegler fires it wide. And then 4 games on tap tomorrow. Finland back on it. Russians will take on Switzerland tomorrow, and the Swedes will play the Finns. Bouncing puck in front, rang off the goal post from David Benara. And Boetzenhart plays it ahead for Germany to Klopper. Klopper has to drop that back. And moved ahead by Wagner. Eisenschmidt was just missed there by Skalitsky. Russians, if he missed it yesterday, opened with an 11-0 win over Norway. As Skalitsky leaned for that long lead pass. Swedes beat Switzerland last night in a close one. In front of a capacity crowd of the Malmo Arena, the other rink being used here.
Wild first 8 minutes. It was 2-2 in 8 minutes, and then the Swiss just never went away. They made it difficult the entire night for Sweden.
And the scouting report from the Swedes afterwards is that the Swiss are good. They've had good results internationally of late. Of course, they finished second in Stockholm at the World Championship last spring, losing to the Swedes in the gold medal game after going on a 9-game winning streak in that tournament. Dominic Tipples tries to wind his way ahead, knocked away by Janskin. Here comes Revi with it again. Revi flips it back in front. Draisaitl got a stick on that. But play continued. Helena has it bounced away. And Moser moves ahead for Germany. Alec Moser fires that around. And here's Patrick Luza back on it. Draisaitl battling for it. One factor that could come into play here is a three-way tie scenario for the last playoff spot. Could Germany manage to upset somebody in its last 2 games until goals for and against become a factor? So that's why the Slovaks will keep firing away. Revi picks it up, walks in, Revi drops it back, the pass intercepted. Here comes Draisaitl for Germany. Working in on Rusina, and Draisaitl pinned back in the corner. Under 5 to go in the 3rd period. The star players have delivered as advertised for the Slovaks, but others like Kalena were perhaps not as heralded and were terrific as well. But Revi and Dano have been tremendous. Cehlarik takes a bump in the corner. Here's Dano with a nifty back pass. And Huvanets plays it back in the corner to Dano.
And this has been from the first shift on. The Germans just haven't had a chance to breathe here.
And now a back pass by Rusina. Loose in front, hammered wide by Cehlarik. Marco Dano. Spins away from Klopper. Dano still digging on it. Finds Cehlarik. And Cehlarik spins along the boards. And that pass ahead to Lunter, misfired. And Philip finally sends it down a race for it now. As Gahunets has to hustle back and the Germans go off on a change. Slovaks took Russia to overtime in their first game at last year's tournament.
Had a 2-goal lead on Canada as well. Early in the tournament, they looked like they could be a team that might sting somebody, and it just never materialized for them.
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Home Depot. Your Home Depot gift card gets you the gift you really want.
Back in Malmo, this is the Istadion, the older of the 2 rinks being used here. The Malmo Arena was where the pool involving Sweden plays. The larger 2 seats about 13,000.
Right next door to the soccer stadium here. Beautiful facility. Their local hero made some noise the other day.
Yes. Ibrahimovic, who announced when his team did not qualify for the World Cup, there was no point in watching it.
He's not shy.
No.
As he won his Player of the Year, he said, we'll see you again next year. Rather confident.
Yes. Well, you know, Europeans don't speak in cliches. That's something that North America would never say. But European players are very refreshing. You ask them a question, you'll get a very direct answer mostly. Now walking back in front, what a goal for Stanislav Horansky, who just walks out and fires that home, and now it's a 9 spot for the Slovaks.
3 goals in each period for them, and some is work ethic, some is the ability to make a play, but this just should not happen. Horansky chips the puck into the corner. Watch him come through the German defense. He's the only guy with the puck. There's 4 Germans that are within 5 feet of him. But he stays on the puck, and he's hard on the puck, gets to the front of the net, and makes it 9-2.
Well, that really does it now, doesn't it? They're not going to come back now.
I would say that pretty well does it.
That ship sailed about an hour and a half ago.
I mean, a play like that is you're playing an opponent that is basically throwing the towel in. They're dejected, they've lost energy, or they haven't been able to find it. He just walks out of the corner amongst 4 players.
So 2 to go in the 3rd period. The Germans are going to drop to 0-2. And Slovakia making its tournament debut will open at 1-0. I think the Czechs and Slovaks will match up well in their New Year's Eve game.
That game's always got a little pep to it anyway.
Well, the players know each other so well. They play against each other growing up. A lot of Slovaks play in Czech junior leagues coming up. At 14 and 15. Klopper keeps it alive for Germany. That's knocked away by Ketchke. And now Ziegler with a chance. He's stopped by Sable. And a long shot this time of Wagner. And Sable hangs on to that. The game story brought to you by Molson Canadian, diehard fan and proud partner of Hockey Canada. Kalina, Rivi, and Grieger have 4 goals combined. Dano's got 7 World Junior goals in his career, and Dominic Cahoon's got a pair of goals for Germany. He's been the bright light on a pretty dismal afternoon for the Germans, who survived relegation last year. The previous 6 appearances in the World Junior, the Germans had been relegated on the format which 2 teams were sent down. Schumann came up and hit Solaric in the face. Now a bouncing puck on the side of the goal. Goes up to Skalitsky. Skalitsky. I'm a member of Team Orange, this group put together by the Slovaks to keep their young players together, and they're hoping that the results will start to pay off. It's the 7th year for that program. But the country's only medal came 15 years ago at the World Junior Championship in Winnipeg. Rivi was at some kind of afternoon. Winds his way in, drops it on, Valiant centers it, and that's flipped wide by Haransky. And the Slovaks will celebrate a 9-2 win over Germany. We go to 1-0. Next stop for the Slovaks, the U.S. on Saturday. Germany goes to 0-2. We'll play the Americans on Sunday.
9-2 would tell you it was a dominating performance. And it absolutely was. From the time the puck was dropped the very first time, Slovakia was by far the better team.
Odd to say about a 9-2 game, but the score flattered the Germans.
14.5 minutes before Slovak goalie Richard Sable had to make a shot. Had to make a save, rather. Germany just 1 shot in that first period. And it was a mismatch.
And Marco Dano now has 7 World Junior goals to his credit. Kalina, Rivi, all a big part of the story for the Slovaks as well. Now time for the presentation of the players of the game and the Slovak national anthem.
Slovakia 28. The best players of each team will be awarded with a book from Malmö Stad, official sponsor of the 2014 IIHF World Championship. The prizes will be presented by Thomas Mellbacke, Malmö Stad. Best player of Team Germany, number 21, Dominic Cahun. Best player of Team Slovakia, number 20, Marko Dano.
Again, the players in the game are selected by the team management itself, so the Slovaks picked Dano. Not sure what Revi would have to do to get the player of the game.
I guess he would have needed 5 points. A goal and 3 for Revi, 2 and 1 for Dano. They had plenty of choices.
You got to up the gift, by the way. Not sure the magazine's cutting it.
I don't know that anyone's reading.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem of Slovakia.
Slovaks win 9-2. Let's send it back to the studio. Vic Rauter and Jason Strudwick.